We should explain Project Platypus and some of its offspring, like the Clay Street project at Procter and Gamble, and what you're doing now at the Gap. So, just in a compressed form, Project Platypus, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is the closest thing to think about is a skunk works, where you take people out of their jobs for a period of time, in this case 12 weeks, 12 people, and you create these really incredible environments that we've been talking about, that are designed to open people up, connect them together, really explore, get inspired from a lot of resources, change the pace of work to something where you have organic discovery, as opposed to, what's my PowerPoint output for the week. So you had great success with that at Mattel. Project Platypus not only produced major new categories in girls' toys, but also people that kind of were blooming in the organization in many ways. This model was replicated at Procter and Gamble in what is now thriving as the Clay Street project, and you're doing versions of this at the Gap, and you did some at Old Navy as well. And the question behind this is, what are you producing with these initiatives as you've developed them over the years? I mean, clearly, yes, we want great new brands, we want creative new products, we want to create whole new categories in an industry, but it seems to me that you're also producing whole new people.
The joy for me is seeing that after people have been through these programs, they, who feels it knows it. So I think when you show people a different way to get to a better result, and give them some skills, the best reward for me is then to see them go back into their jobs and use some of those skills, or see things differently, and do some of the things that they've experienced in these sessions in their own teams. At Mattel, because it was going on for about 3 years, what was great is I would take 12 people, and they were always from different teams all over the company, not just, creative teams, but finance, merchandising, and it's like strength in numbers. The first group that came out and went back into their teams were a bit lonely, because they were, wow, I used improv to brainstorm, and, and in fact, I had to create like brown bag lunches to bring these people back together once a month, because they wanted to feel connected. I think when you learn something new, which I also think is a great way to bond, when you've gone through an experience of sharing new experiences, there's a deep connection. And so I would bring them back once a month in brown bag lunches, and we even started a website so they could share thoughts, because they were kind of lonely going back into their groups where the majority behaved the way they used to behave. And the best, most rewarding thing to me is a few of them came to me and said, we want to start our own project in our own team, and we don't want to call it Project Platypus. I said, fantastic, call it whatever you want. And that what started happening is, when you got 2 or 3 people who had been through the project with a new skill set, they went back to their boss, and they kind of said, we have a different way, we have an idea about a different way to do this or accomplish this. And so there were little satellite projects that were springing up. It basically gave people, I think, the confidence level to approach projects differently. Now, the interesting thing was, HR at first said, well, Ivy, you're picking the best people in the company. And I said, okay, give me your bottom 10%. I know every company has a list, right? The bottom 10%. And I said, of the 12 people I take, not all 12, give me 2 that come from that list. And I bet you half of one of those 2, is maybe just in the wrong job. And sure enough, about half the time, people were just in the wrong job or the wrong situation, the wrong boss, and they actually shined within the program. Also, I think people who came in one job with one job title, whether it be strategy, marketing, creative, because I asked that you check your titles at the door. And really the way I would work with them is to see where the passion was, because sometimes I think, we are a product of our experience. So after being in the company for 20 years, or you are exposed to other things, and you could be your most genius in the thing you haven't yet even attacked. But we never give people that ability to exercise that piece of themselves with a new mind. So part of the idea is, if you get diversity of people, I acted more like the orchestra conductor, and you just have to pay attention and see where the sparks are coming from, and and really then work it to achieve great results. And so often there were people that I thought, who came in as creative people, and they should really be strategists. So it really is just valuing, paying attention to the passion and skill set that each of these individuals have versus thinking of them as, my VP of marketing or VP of strategy. Today, especially because we have computers that are doing, a certain amount of the work, that it is a crime not to really use the human beings in our company at a whole different level than we've been doing. And so I think that it is where, companies need to focus. I mean, I know there's been the term human capital thrown around, but even that, I think there's something wrong with that, because treating a human as a piece of capital versus really putting time into the growth and development of each of our employees in a very different way, not just the skill set of category management or one of the, but really the skill set of bringing the best of what they have to offer to the company and spending the time to learn what that might be and being able to try them in different situations and to bring out pieces of themselves that they didn't even know they were gifted and talented in. So I think the future of companies' success is, leveraging the talent and the humanness of what we've got inside companies